But I would definitely not say that that tells the whole story, because Ziggy has been having some runs lately that I think have been making Shark nervous. He's been getting runs that are a minute-ish ahead into the mid and late game of his PV split. So he has been in fantastic form. He's just got to finish one out. But let's talk about the most important thing, Amimi. What do you think about the outfits?
Oh, well, Shark is going for his his outfit is always the king, and well, Ziggy, well, they're both running V, so I guess it's good.
Yeah, both with the V sprite, the original character, just with some different outfits to wear honor. Ziggy sporting that awesome pink, I think it's the bubblegum skin?
I don't know. Yeah, it's his pink skin.
And Shark in all gray, which is something he's been wearing in this game, I think since I've ever seen him play it, so it's been years for him to wear the same outfit.
Alright, so the race has just started, and well, you can see they're already in the floating heap aftermath, which is the zone where well, basically they live, but they just freed a big demon that captured their friend, so you're gonna have to save her. But I mean, while he was getting freed, he basically destroyed their world and their home. So yeah, they have to escape it now, and it's full of enemies. And yeah, so now we can see the first portal room, and basically it spawns enemy until and when you kill them, the portal dies every time. So yeah, you want to kill it as fast as possible.
Yeah, and upon beating it here, you're going to get a feather from your friend Ira. She's going to give you the ability to flutter. And so up until now, the players could only jump and move, and which just a single jump. Now they can flutter, so you're going to see them use their wings to just get some extra movement capabilities as they make their way through this nice little obstacle here. And then, yeah, the platforming in this game basically changes based on what you get in terms of power-ups. And so at the start of the game, you're really limited, but later on you get more stuff to work with, and the platforming becomes more and more advanced.
Plus, the platforming is actually very very interesting, because sometimes, well, here you would have to flutter and then jump, but at some places you would have to jump and then flutter, and it makes a huge difference whether you choose which order you do that. And you're gonna have a second jump later on, and that changes even more. So it's a lot of puzzles in a way, where you have to know the right combination. And it doesn't even have to do with speedrunning fact yet, you have to go as fast as possible. So it's a lot of interesting mechanics that the game offers you. So
yeah,
we can see they're both doing great right now, and they're encountering Miyugi 1, first boss.
Both of them not having too much trouble with the fire guys from the second portal. Second portal can definitely troll you quite a bit based on how the enemies move and where they'd like to go. The fire guys will sometimes just teleport to the worst places and keep you from being able to take them out.
Yeah,
and Shark getting past Miyugi 1 and Ziggy as well. No problem with the tutorial boss. And now they're picking up the ability to slide, so we're going to see them cruise on through the rest of this area.
Here you can see a Shark who just, well, clipped through that wall. And yeah, it's kind of a thing here where if you slide and you have an obstacle above you, if you jump, you're just going to clip through it. It's not that big of a deal later on in the game, but it's a small... Well, it helps at the beginning.
Absolutely. And neither of our runners going for the pixel jump. Unfortunately, we don't get to see any swag. Neither going for jetty skip earlier either, so not going to be able to give them bonus points for that today.
But they're both aware of how good they are. And I don't think... I mean, in a way that they're kind of afraid of each other, so they don't want to take a risk, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
want to win.
Again, both these runners are very close to each other in terms of PB, so they're trying to, by the way, what's at stake here is the winner of this match is going to go into the bracket stage of the tournament as the second seed, and the loser is likely to go in as a fourth or fifth seed, and that just to them would mean that they would have a less favorable position in the beginning of the bracket. So they want to win this race. This is definitely not just another race. This one has something on the line. Ziggy making it first to Pagora, which is the first real boss of the game. Shark's just a little bit behind.
Alright, Pagora cycles through 5 or 6 abilities, right?
Yeah, 5.
5, okay. And depending on which ability comes first, after his introduction attack, you get faster kills. And they both got the same ability, which is the wind attack. And it's not the worst, but there's definitely better. I think it's actually second best, I mean.
Yeah.
So they're good. It's 530 Pagora. That's 45 actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the time that they want in a PB attempt, but in a race, sometimes you just got to do the best you can, and both of them at least are fairly close here. I wouldn't say either one has a terribly big advantage at this point. This race is still close enough that it's absolutely anyone's race still.
All right, just here something pretty big happened, and that's the first. Well, it's only the only one actually, but save skip. I mean, they had to go through a whole falling section where you just have Ruby on your back, and you have to kill a lot of machines and dodge missiles and stuff. And it's actually kind of long, and there's a way to skip it where if you load onto another save file that has double jump, which they just took right now, the feather Shark is picking right now, it's the feather, is a double jump, I mean. But if you have another save file which has double jump unlocked, and you log on that save, plus you log on your original save, then you will actually get the double jump for the first frame, and well, you want a double jump flutter, and you can actually get above the trigger that triggers the whole section, so you can get out of it and skip it.
Yeah. So they were able to skip in auto scroller and save a lot of time. They're now on the Electram here. Again, they have the double jump ability unlocked now, so you're going to see him make use of that. Now, Electram is one of these bosses where it's got a really long enrage phase, so you basically just need to get the boss down to 40% HP or less, and then once that happens, he's going to stand to the left here and just kind of do a bunch of attacks. You can't fight back during this time, you just have to wait it out. And the RNG that you get on this boss can make a pretty significant difference in terms of how much time you save or lose, so both of our runners hoping for the best luck here. I think Shark actually got better luck than Ziggy because he made a big comeback here.
And they both got it. Damn, it's the same time.
Yeah.
They're very close. And you will see them actually reset here because they didn't take any save, not even the save before Electram. So they're able to skip the whole backtracking, and that saves a lot of time. But it's risky, but they're good, so.
Yeah. Death warping is definitely a big thing in this run because a lot of the progress that you unlock by defeating a boss or picking up a collectible, it will actually save for you without having to touch a save point. So you can just go, grab the thing, and then reset back to a point that you saved at earlier to save some backtracking time.
They're literally 2 seconds apart. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is really close. However, this is Veil 2. This is one of the toughest parts of the game.
Oh yeah.
We're definitely going to see, well, we might see some trouble. We're hoping they both get through this without any problems. But coming up here in just a second is a damage boost. There was a small one earlier in the run, but this one is the biggest damage boost in the game. You're going to take a hit from an enemy, which pops you up in the air by a few pixels, and that just gives you some extra height so that you can reach things that are unintended.
Alright, Shark did it. And, oh, Ziggy got it. So close.
Ziggy got it. He's low on HP, though. He's probably going to opt for this heart.
Yes.
We call it the Heart of Shame. It's just a backup strat. Shark, low here. Hopefully he doesn't get sniped by the rock thrower.
Alright, he got it.
He got it. So Shark is through, going for the damage boost. The second one now in the troll cave. Gets it first try.
It's actually kind of tricky because the rock thrower throws a rock at you when you enter the room. So if you exit it and you come back, the rock is able to fly through the wall because the wall is not loaded at the time you were out of the cave.
Okay,
So-
Ziggy makes it 2.
All right, nice, awesome.
So we've got some good action here. So okay, this boss Amethyst. Unfortunately, the Shark's HP I did
Oh
not
my
notice.
god, yeah, same.
He took some hits there at the start of this fight. So Shark is definitely in trouble. Amethyst is a boss that, if you have some HP, is usually not very scary for experienced runners. She cycles through a bunch of different elemental-based attacks, and for the most part, you just have to do a bit of damage to her at the start of each phase to pop her shield, and then once that's done, you can just back off and dodge things. So for the most part, you can play pretty safe and not lose much time here. Shark is going to have to play really safe here. He does not want to die.
Oh, that's Rock's attack. Oh my god, okay, got it.
Yeah, Rocks is definitely one of the scariest attacks to get, especially when the fire pattern is like this. Because the way that Amethyst lays the fire on the ground can absolutely make a big difference in how you have to play the battlefield.
I think Shark got it.
He
But,
should be fine. Just gotta... This is a good attack to be low on HP on, because there's nothing really to dodge. You just have to keep afloat.
Oh my god.
Commentator's curse.
That's the thing you have to know. After each of her enrages, you know, when the schools protect her actually, and she does the big laser thing, her attacks, well, they kind of get harder and harder every time. So he got the ice attack, which is not bad, but it actually goes super fast, and it's super hard to keep up with the pace she spawns the ice. So yeah.
Yeah, on the final phase of ice platforms, you really want to do this thing where you jump for every other one instead of each one, because they're going too fast. I think Shark might have accidentally jumped earlier or something there. Ziggy now in the Sinister Grotto, making his way through this area. This area is a pretty consistent and one of the easier platforming segments for most runners to do without any problems, without worrying about taking deaths too much. So we're hoping Shark will be able to get through Amethyst here and catch back up, but Ziggy's definitely got a nice advantage at this point.
Oh, nice. Nice catch up.
But Ziggy doing the cool thing with that switch. Is he going to go for any strats here? He's using Wrath, it looks like. So people have been using Sloth a lot here, because what we used to do is we used to just slide into each spider and take a bop and then just use our iframes that we get after that to go through each spider and not really waste any time fighting them. But then somebody was like, hey, what if we just use a weapon that does a lot of damage and a wind-up and take each spider out on the way? And just that way we can just not slow down at all. And so that's been the new thing that we've been seeing during this tournament. Shark getting past Amethyst.
And Ziggy just went for a small skip here. Above him is actually a section where you have a save, but you skip it because it's faster to not take it. And the thing is, he's going to be skipping a lot of saves here. He might even skip the save right before the boss. I don't think he will, though. But
Yeah.
see, there is a yellow save here. He's not going to take it.
We used to call the yellow save the save of shame, because there used to be a lucky mine
Okay,
at the end that would bop you. Ziggy's taking the save. He's not taking any chances here. No water physics for the boss either.
Nope. Alright, so this is Dark Annihilator, kind of creation, another creation of Mugion. And, well, the boss is not very hard overall. It's a lot of, it's a set of 4 attacks you can do. This one being like the missiles coming from the side, he has a laser, he has the missiles coming from top, and he also has like 2 balls he can launch like this. And if they touch the ground, they let a fire trail that will never disappear, so that kind of eats on the space you have, so you don't want them to touch the ground.
Yeah.
And it's a boss that you cannot melee to, so you have to stay in range and hit it with the Orbs of Purity.
Exactly. And because your orbs are, you can't just mash, so you have to actually use them as they refresh, which means that your damage is kind of capped. And so as a result of that, you do not want to miss any shots, because every shot you miss is a shot you cannot get back and do, and so you've got to keep your damage up on the boss by not missing. And you don't want to waste your orbs shooting missiles down or bombs either. So Ziggy only wasted a couple orbs there. Was a pretty nice, clean fight. Only took a couple hits as well, so he's in good shape. And Shark not taking that bop there. He's also going to risk the boss fight with 50% HP, which is a pretty safe gamble.
Yeah, because the boss hits for at most 20, so you can get hit twice.
Yeah, and some of the attacks only do 15, so it's like it's a pretty safe boss. Most runners are not afraid of this boss in runs.
Mm-hmm.
He can give you a bad pattern once in a while, but nothing big. Okay, so the segment Ziggy's on here, the underwater minecarts and stuff, there's a lot of save points that are just out of the way a bit, and this segment, there's literally no RNG. It's just, you just play through it and execute with your muscle memory the same way every single time. You shoot the switches, you get through the lasers, and you make the jumps. And so most runners will feel comfortable skipping almost every save here in order to save some time. But that can lead to some crazy chokes.
Alright, it's taking this one though, which doesn't lose a lot of time at all. But yeah, if he died on the way, he would have to... Well, he would wind up back at the save he took right after Dark Annihilator, where Shark is, so it would be even if he died there. Almost, but yeah. So next boss is going to be Terravine. That is the evolved version of these small plants. It's going to be a huge plant. And it's also a boss that can be kind of choky because, well, he has also a set of attacks that he can do, and one of them especially is pretty good if you tank it. And so your life kind of acts like a resource here, where if you manage it properly, you can kill the boss faster, but if you don't, you can die. So.
Yeah. This boss is definitely one of the most high-risk bosses, because you're going to play it as aggressively as you can to kill it as quickly as you can, but you're also going to trade a lot of HP to do that.
So, yeah, we'll tell you when this attack comes.
Ziggy playing pretty aggressive so far, staying up in his face.
Yeah, it is.
He's trying to stay up there, even though there's the vines and the spikes that can make you want to play safe sometimes. Now he's going to be tanking these laser hits here, which this is kind of the attack that you're definitely trading HP on to keep close. Also, the Spores attack here, the yellow orbs will paralyze you, the green ones will make you go to sleep, and the pink ones will deal damage to you over time.
Alright, it's a pretty fast Terravine, if you want, in my opinion.
Yeah, and 1730 RTA time, 17 flat there for the in-game. It's pretty good pace, not gonna lie. So Ziggy making his way out of there. Shark almost to the Terravine boss. Shark's behind, but he's not terribly behind. I still don't think he's necessarily out of this. Ziggy's going to have to make some mistakes for Shark to catch up, but I mean, it's Wings of E. People make mistakes.
Yes, especially at the end game.
Okay, so Ziggy here in the underworld. This area has a lot of fire, which when you get lit on fire, that will kind of deal damage to you over time. It's going to burn you every couple of seconds or so for a bit of damage, and can definitely make a difference too in how you handle platforming, because it slows you down somewhat and makes it so that if you time your jumps and stuff wrong, then you might lose some momentum. So you've got to be careful about that. You've got to be careful how you manage enemies when you're on fire. And then there's this cool portal.
Not cool, actually. But yeah, there's gonna be a skeleton dudes that will spawn from it, and oh my god, Ziggy got a really clean kill on it. They dash, right? And, well, just like this one, Ziggy couldn't kill it in one shot. It's kind of hard to do. And if you don't, well, they can dash at some really annoying places, and it doesn't get fast at all. But he did a very clean portal. But at the end of the portal, you get a feather, which I will let you explain, Kate.
So you can use these wings now that you'll pick up in midair, look like little feathers, and they let you do a dash now with your action button. The same button that you use for flutter as well as for slide. So now you can combine all your basic movement, your jump, your double jump, and your flutter with a dash, which just lets you go super fast and do some of these really complex, cool puzzles.
Oh. And with all those mechanics, this this area of the game has the most puzzly, well, not actually the most, but one of the most puzzly.
I wouldn't say the most puzzly, but it's definitely got some of the most tricky stuff.
Yes.
Not gonna lie.
All right, Craterak going for Ziggy right now. It's a very ugly boss, but
Wow.
yeah,
I'm gonna tell Craterak that you said that. I don't know what she's gonna think.
she is it she?
I don't know. Spawning babies. I'm just gonna
maybe.
I'm just gonna say it's a she.
Yeah, she.
Shark
It's
cleaning up this
pretty fast,
portal.
huh?
Shark's probably the best runner in the game at the portal. He's a master of the skeleton foot kills and stuff. Ziggy getting through that first phase gets a lot of rock hits there. I don't know if that was 4 or 5, but really solid. Don't think he's on pace for the 2-cycle kill, which is the quickest kill you can get on this boss. It's also very luck based because the boss will it has to do a double of one of its attacks. And wow, I mean, I just said luck based. You didn't even say like, yeah, it's because it's mortal.
Oh, sorry. All right, so
I
just
expect
so you know,
better from you, Amini. I expect better.
So just to trigger Shark, there are 3 difficulties in this game, and this is the middle one. This is mortal. There's a higher one, which is called demon, which makes the enemies much stronger. They have more HP. They have different abilities. A boss, likewise. And yeah, overall it's a lot harder. They hit for a lot more, and yeah, so like mortal is basically a joke. It's not even skill based. I'm kidding. No,
What these players are doing is not skill based at all. You've heard it here first. All right, so Ziggy is on the area of the game where you have to collect 3 keys at the end of each fork in the road here, and then once you grab that key, you can actually just do a death warp and go back. As we discussed earlier, the game does not necessarily require you to take a save point to save that, and there's a really scary segment of backtracking for every single fork here that you would have to do if you don't take the death warp. So it's actually easier and faster to just take the death warp at the end.
So they don't take save.
Shark having a nice Craterak himself. Ziggy has collected all 3 of those keys and is going to be making his way over through the 3 gates, followed by the worm chase, which is definitely a fairly precise segment of platforming here.
Yeah.
There's a worm that's chasing him, and if it touches him, he dies in 1 hit, so it's got to go fast.
But Ziggy is very good at it, so there's no problem with it.
Ziggy is a boss. Shark cleaning up Craterak. This is actually one of the smaller platforming segments of the game, I would say. So Shark is not all that behind right now. He's catching up, I think. I don't think Ziggy's made any major mistakes, but I think Shark is just having a little bit faster of a playthrough here through Underworld.
Damn, Shark has a really interesting top key strat. Yeah.
Honestly, everybody who uses any top key strat except for mine, I feel like I'm scared when I watch them because I think they're doing it wrong.
All right, so there was a boss here, but you didn't see it because
bosses. What are bosses?
It's overrated. Well, that's a DLC. It hasn't been implemented yet.
Ziggy getting a cutscene glitch.
Oh no! Well, we can explain a bit now.
There's a bug. There's a bug in this game. It's kind of interesting where because there's a skip button for every cutscene, so there's a whole bunch of dialogue going on with the story where characters will stop and explain things, and if you press the skip button on the first frame of a cutscene, it'll actually lock you into watching the whole thing. Also, Ziggy going for tournament skip here, gets it.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Tournament skip is a skip that skips an entire, not just a cutscene, it skips multiple cutscenes, as well as having to track or to walk over and talk to your angel friends about stuff before you can progress. And then it also makes some of the platforming faster and easier later on.
And so much talk about it. Like Ziggy just pulled a dash skip, which is I don't know if it's called like this, but basically if you use the wing thing, the dash wing, after you flutter, no, actually it's the opposite. If you flutter after you just dashed, the flutter like keeps the momentum and makes you fly even higher. So you can actually abuse the game because, well, Ziggy just skipped an entire section that is super slow in the area it's just in, and he was able to skip, like one big save that takes, I don't know, like 20 seconds at least. Yeah,
absolutely. Shark now setting up, while Ziggy's on the elevator, Shark is setting up for the damage boost here to go for the Ancient Construct skip. So that skip that's, as we said earlier, that is a boss with the 3 statues there. It's actually about a minute-long boss, so it's a pretty big skip. And that was something we didn't find until very late in this game's speedrun life. But what you can do is you can take a damage boost to get a little bit off the ground more than you're intended to, and jump over the boss's trigger that spawns it. So it's a nice save. Ziggy getting through that elevator, no problem, no chokes. Shark landing cut the tournament skip, so he is also having a good library so far.
They're not far behind at all, especially with Miyagi-2 coming. And Miyagi-2 is, well, the boss that you actually have to do with the biggest time save if you do it correctly. And the reason is, well, she has a intermediary phase. I don't know how to call that.
An enraged phase, what I call it.
Yeah. All right, enraged phase. And the thing is, you cannot hit her while she is enraged. And there's a way to skip it. If you stun her, well, you have a 4-frame window where if you stun her while she's preparing to get enraged, well, she doesn't actually do the enraged part, and you can skip that whole phase.
Yeah, and it's really nice because, again, that phase, you can't hurt her during it, and it's really long, so you don't want to miss the skip. Ziggy's setting up for it now, I believe.
Yeah, so we'll see if he gets it.
The HP wasn't quite lined up there. He's waiting for another instance of that bouncing rock attack. There he goes, gets the skip, nails it like a champ.
Nice.
That's actually that's a very important thing for Ziggy. I know he has been struggling recently with that skip, and had he missed that, I mean, Shark's behind. That would have almost put Shark right back in this.
So Shark needs to get it, but I heard he's the most consistent.
Oh, Shark just jumped over the edge at the end of elevator there. Elevator is one of the longest segments of platforming. It's an auto-scroller. You cannot speed it up. And he just waited all the way to the top, and then unfortunately just jumped too far there. Wasn't paying attention. Has to redo it all. That's a pretty big setback for him. Ziggy past Myogi 2, no problem. Now making his way through the Maggot and Maggot Queen rooms, as we found out from Slogan. That's what these are called. Man, Ziggy might have an almost insurmountable lead now.
Well, we'll see. Everything can happen in this game.
I'm gonna hope Shark can make a comeback, but man, right now it's not looking so good. Ziggy,
password. Did you get it? Oh, I got it!
What?
Oh my god!
What a boss!
Everyone applaud in the chat.
We better see some PogChamps in the chat, because that was first try password. That never happens.
Never, especially.
No, he's not in the tournament. All right, so Ziggy now making his way to the chambers. He's going to be running from this spiked ceiling that's chasing him. He's got to do some platforming here to stay ahead of it. There's a lot of switches you can hit, which give you some extra time, but Ziggy's just going to hit a couple of them here. You don't need to hit everyone. In fact, it kind of is just almost a trap to go after each of them, I would say.
Yeah, when you say, man, yeah. And when you think about it, it's the opposite of elevator. You have to go down.
Yeah, it is. Because you went up to fight Myogi, now you're going down to fight the orcs. What do you know?
Oh my god. Recycled ADs.
So, Shark's really hoping to get this quick kill here on Myogi, so we'll highlight that when he gets close. I think he's setting up for the skip here in just a moment.
And here Ziggy's going to... Oh, he's going for the pacifist strat. Nice. So he doesn't shoot any skeletons because, well, you have to stop and... If you want
Shark got the skip.
Oh, nice. You have to stop and kill them. Well, and stopping in the speedrun is not very optimized. And yeah, so he just like walk and he manipulates them so they dash, not on top of them. So yeah, he dodged them all the way through. And he's going for the impossible jump right now. Is he gonna get it? Oh, he got it. What a god.
And Shark doing what we like to call lovingly as the lava skip there too.
Alright, explain
and Ziggy now starting the Twin Orcs kill. So this fight is actually intended to be fought in the middle of the platform here. And then the orcs they jump around following you. And so it's kind of like a dance where you're bringing them back and forth, leading them to opposite sides while you're trying to avoid getting damage. And then you're having to deal with a lot of different things. But we found later on that there's actually a cute strat you can do where you stand on the very edges, because the orcs don't jump all the way over to the corner of the platform. So you can stand on this little bit of ground and just hang off the edge kind of whenever there's an attack and dodge it narrowly and just sit in their face and just wail on them constantly. So it speeds up the kill significantly. There's actually an entire other element to that boss that you don't see. Shark gets the password.
Oh my god, I was not even watching this. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, how could I not watch that? I mean, password, man, he got it. So both of our runners executing that flawlessly. Ziggy out of the twin orcs, out of the chambers, in the path of decay. He's probably feeling really good about his run right now, but this is definitely the hardest part of the game in terms of platforming. So anything can still happen. So Ziggy here taking a boost there so that he can iframe clip through that rock thrower. Just makes that segment a bit easier. He's going to be... You now have to hit these little switches that look like hearts that are beating. You have to, and then once you hit them the right number of times, it'll lower the wall and let you progress. So there's a lot of like... This area is kind of an area where, as we saw earlier with like the laser switches and stuff, this area also has a lot of puzzly elements to it, where you have to hit switches and you have to do things in the correct order or else you can't get through. And so it's kind of tricky. And then it combines it with really long segments that also have a ton of enemies. So it's definitely the hardest segment of the game.
It's also very hard on your first playthrough, and even on the speedrun it can get, well, very surprising because well, the enemies can, they can take different paths based on the position you are, and like for example the worms. Yeah, if you want to manipulate them into not taking damage because you made a mistake or something, it's not that easy.
And it's just one of those things about this game is not only is the platforming hard, not only are the bosses like really difficult and really complicated that you have to learn, but the enemies themselves, they aim at you most of the time, and so you've learned their movement, which some of them they curve, some of them go directly for you, some of them, you know, they do things differently, and you have to learn as you run this game how to move correctly so that you manipulate what they do, because you want to keep them, you want to avoid taking damage. And as you saw Ziggy there on the climb just a minute ago, he kind of had the enemy circling around him so that he can just deal damage to them without taking too many bops. So it's definitely a skill that you've got to learn.
And there's two kind of manipulation. You can manipulate them into going as fast as possible, but you also need to know how to manipulate them if you need to go slow.
Man.
Oh my god,
Shark getting the So the element of that boss that we were talking about earlier is there is an enrage phase that happens if you don't kill the bosses in one cycle, which most players aren't going to kill the boss in one cycle because it's hard to do. This quick kill is very difficult to execute. So you're going to get an extra cycle, and before you get that extra cycle, there's what we call an enrage, where the bosses will kind of team up on you. And Shark got the worst one. He got the one that we call shields, where they put on really heavy armor, and you actually cannot damage the bosses during that enrage. And unfortunately, he also had that combined with kind of a glitch that happens, where if you kill one of the orcs that then puts on a shield, the dead orc will actually jump around and follow you.
Very unfortunate for Shark, indeed.
That cleans up the orc fight there, the second try. Ziggy now making his way through the gauntlet area. Trying to be careful with his HP here.
Yeah, you will see, I mean, you probably saw if you pay attention to both players' health, but like a lot of times they will end up with very low health because they will be risking stuff, tanking stuff, and that's the very scary part of this whole run is if you want to go fast, you need to tank stuff, and you need to know how to do it properly, because otherwise, well, you can choke, and if you don't know how to recover, sometimes it's very, very, very scary. And you can see now, yeah, hello.
I don't think we discussed Space Meatball yet, did we?
No.
Dude, Space Meatball. Ziggy is using the demon form, where he goes red here, turns into this little ball, and flies around. And we like to call it the Space Meatball. It's actually a term that was originally coined by Shark, because it looks like a meatball, and you're in space and you're fighting. Or at least it looks like you're in space. You're not really in space, but you're a space meatball. So what Ziggy's going to be doing here on this boss Azrael is try to damage the boss, trying to keep her shield from popping all the way because that makes her invincible for a bit, and using the space meatball to fly around and dodge these spikes that come at you from circles and give you just some extra airtime, because these platforms, they'll fall, Azrael will pull them down, and then you have nowhere to stand unless you bring a platform back up. So it's a lot of time you spend in the air just trying to damage the boss, but then you have to land again to refresh your ability to do all that stuff.
But you need to damage the boss properly, and it's a lot of management.
Yeah.
A lot.
Ziggy getting through Azrael, no problem. Making his way now into the Heart of the Baneful, which is the final area of platforming. It's also really short, but you gotta deal with these fire guys, which, as we've mentioned, are kind of trolly sometimes, but that was a nice pattern.
For Ziggy, yes.
Yeah.
And Shark is on his way to get Space Meatball for himself. And by the way, if you use it too much, you get a little high, and that's not good.
Is that so?
Alright, Ziggy is going to be 1v1ing the Shark Tooth soon. We'll see if he does fast, but no, he stops. Okay, there's a small spike in front of which he stopped. Shark on the left. Well, the spike is named after him because he used to not stop and die a lot to it.
Shark is just not having a fun run right now.
I don't think so.
He was going for the fast bone snake there, which Ziggy did execute first try, but Shark unfortunately got kind of stuck.
Alright, Ziggy now is on J1, Jehul for his whole name. And, well, that attack that he just did, well, he spawns...
Headshot!
Yes.
What a boss.
Spawns spikes on the ground, and if you attack the spikes, they actually get launched in the air. And if you hit them after, you can actually send them back to their sender, and yeah, you can do extra damage to him. And if you headshot them, well, he takes a lot more damage. And yeah, Ziggy is just going for a very, very fast duel.
That was a really nice kill by Ziggy for sure. I mean, using Envy on that boss, I've just got to say, I'm so proud, because before this tournament started, I was the only player, I think, who used Envy on that boss consistently. Maybe Solid Skull did too, actually. But nobody else was using it. And Ziggy and Shark have both picked it up during this tournament. I think I've seen a couple other players as well. It makes me proud because it is faster. It's more difficult for sure, but all right, as we head into the final boss here.
All right.
Supreme J-Wolf.
Is Ziggy on a PB run? I think so.
He might be.
Alright, so depending on how well the fight is going, because depending on your performance, you can get a very different speed. And, well, let's see if he does well, and he might actually PB.
This boss is the hardest boss in the game.
Yes.
It's also a boss that I would say it's rarely unfair. It's usually within your control. However, it is just very easy to mess up. So Ziggy here, he's got to attack the boss. He's got to back up into the shield because that scream attack right there will actually kill you in one hit if you're standing outside of it. And then during this fight, got to point out that your HP is constantly being drained by the poison in the air. And so you've got to be chasing for the heal orbs that are dropped by your fairy friend, Viola.
Maybe he stinks. That's why you're losing health.
Ziggy taking a bop there from the dive, but he does, I think...
He got a quick range, though.
He gets a quick range, so he's set. This is an important thing that, unfortunately, he doesn't have enough HP to laser tank.
Alright, and now, I mean, because he's enraged, all of his attacks are empowered, so instead of having one set of balls in the air, you have two of them. Instead of the laser going upwards only, it actually goes downwards after. And after he bites on you like this, a worm pops and you need to kill him very, very fast, otherwise it gets out of hand. And Ziggy! Nice!
Ziggy with a kill. That looks like it's a low 38. Cool. That might be a PB. I think that's a PB. Get a 38-34.
Oh, we'll see very fast.
And this looks like a 38, like 10 or so. So this, in terms of in-game, Shark past Azrael now making his way to the final area.
All right, 38.09.
He's got to submit it to the leaderboard here to get the official time that the game gives you.
And it's
38:11 PBs by
Wow.
23 seconds, it looks like, of in-game.
It's a very, very insane run from Ziggy.
Man, sometimes people just show up, you know, for races, and that's pretty impressive. So we'll see if we can get Ziggy in here for an interview.
I think he is. Hello, Ziggy.
Hello, guys. Whew, that was a run.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing. I had that run in the system for at least a week now. Like my summer best is close to like 3 minutes behind my PB. It's just a shame that it happened against Shark. Poor guy. But yeah, I mean, wow, that one felt good.
Man,
You had a really great run. It was very amazing to watch.
Yeah.
So walk us through the run, Ziggy. What do you feel like went so well for you today to get that PB?
Yeah, I mean, it started badly. Floating keep, I was about 10 seconds behind because I completely messed up a lot of things in the second part of the keep. I had to go get the heart also in Terrestrial Veil 2 because I failed the first damage boost, but I managed to save it, so I was fine with that. After that, it was kind of average until it started picking up speed in the mid game where I played really, really solid. I had a little bit of a struggle in Path of Decay. Azrael was slow because I was really scared of dying. And J2, I took too much damage to tank a laser, but other than that, oh yeah, no, there's one thing. Entering Acropolis, the cutscene skip glitch. If we remove that, that's a 37.
Shark just took a death to J1 there at the very end.
Ooh, he's still at J1. Like, I was reading the chat, but I didn't know where he was, actually. But it seems like he had a struggle.
Shark just had some issues with bosses this run. Not sure if nerves are just getting to him or what, but he had a death on Amethyst at the very end of the fight. That's actually when the lead switch happened, because Shark was ahead of you until then. He had a really nice Veil too. You were actually ahead going into Electram, and then he got an Orbless Electram and took the lead. And then his Veil 2, he didn't go for the heart. And he pulled ahead entering Amethyst, but then died at the last second. And then he also took a death on Orcs, and he just took a death now in J1, so he's had some rough stuff go his way.
Yeah, Orcs, I almost took a death there. I took way too much damage at the beginning. I don't know, I saved it. I'm glad I did. The spikes kind of were nice to me, because really they could have not. But I was about 3 blitz away from 2 cycle crat, so that was fast as well. Some good stuff happened this run, and some bad stuff. But the way I played, like I started with my regular safety strats in races, but as soon as I got to M2 and I saw I was 45 seconds ahead of my PB, I just went like, no, you go ham until PB is not possible.
Yeah, that's a good strat. I was nervous for you for the M2 skip. I know you've had trouble with that lately, but you nailed it, no problem.
I dunked like 2 hours of it with video and watching my gameplay and everything this morning, just to be sure I got it right. And I got decent setups there. I managed to save it with meteors. I'm not afraid of meteors anymore. I got a good, decent setup where they're not even an issue anymore.
Yeah,
so I mean, it was comfortable.
I've never felt like meteors are a problem, but I'm glad that you got it figured out.
Okay, please. It's monstrous for everyone.
I don't know, man. So Shark here on the final boss, hoping to clean up this run. I think he took an early bot, but he's doing okay.
You have to keep in mind, this game is extremely difficult, and despite making mistakes on boss where he lost a lot of time, it's still a very good run when you think about it.
Absolutely.
He did like very few mistakes, and it's just the few mistakes he did.
Shark getting the neck snap on J2 on the dive.
Oh yeah.
Good old crinkle neck.
And gets the super low lasers.
Actually makes the tanking much easier.
If I may though, I'm pretty sure Shark is not going to be pleased with anything that is around 43-44 minutes.
No.
Yeah, most likely not. It's a good time, but we're speedrunners. We're hard on ourselves, right? It's just how it is. But yeah, Ziggy, so you're looking at a really good place for the tournament now, I would say. I think this win secures you for second seed.
Yes, this confirms second seed. So
All
I'm
right.
pretty
Alright,
happy
Shark.
because I get to dodge you. Go ahead.
Shark finishing the run.
Congrats to him.
Gets a
for
44-33 RTA and about a 43-18 or so for in-game. So
Well, yeah, it must be very tough for him because, like you said, he's very hard on himself, and like everything that's not below 40, it's probably a bad run for him. So, and he's got some really frustrating deaths, so that sucks a lot for him.
yeah, but both of our runners finishing the game in pretty quick time. So
Yes.
GG's out for both of them for sure. And Ziggy, it looks like your character ate some cake there,
Yeah.
and then put on some weight. So
I mean, Solgren wanted more of the third day cakes. I went. I think that's appropriate.
That cake was placed for V birthday on 2016?
15.
2015?
The first year, yes.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
and I guess that's why your character is afraid of teetering on the edge there, as has been the tradition during the whole tournament. So
Oh, no, I just forgot. It's just me forgetting.
I can't believe this guy forgetting important traditions.
I didn't
But-
do a SE skip either, but I got the password. So it's fine.
So yeah, I've invited Shark in here for an interview. Haven't heard. I'm not sure if he's going to come in, but yeah. So looking at the bracket now, I think for the tournament or for the bracket stage, we're probably looking at Ziggy going to be in second seed now, and I think Shark's going to end up in either fourth or fifth, depending on how things go.
I think his time is better than Canaris and Squall, so he should be fourth place.
Yeah, and so both of our these runners here, Ziggy and Shark, going to be in very solid seeds for the bracket stage, and that's going to make a big difference for how things play out. It's also going to be a double elimination tournament, so even though Shark's going to probably meet somebody he doesn't want to play earlier on in the tournament now, he's still going to have a good shot at a loser's bracket run. So by no means is it the end of the tournament for him. And yeah, be sure to follow our runners and our commentators here. All these people are fantastic. Ziggy and Shark have been grinding this game like crazy lately on stream. So they are definitely fun to watch right now. You should check them out for sure.
Oh, wait, there's someone you should also follow. It's Cake! The one with the very beautiful voice and awesome commentary from him. So be sure to follow him. And thanks again, Ziggy.
Thank you, GG.
Yeah, GG to you. Congrats on your PB. And, well, that's it for us, I guess.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. And
So I guess just to bring up the schedule for the next little bit here. Looks like we're not going to have any more Wings of V until Saturday. We're going to have Flacknitz versus Lude and Kale versus Redstoad on Saturday. And then Fraslo versus Canaris will be Sunday. That's actually going to be a very important match as well. Both Kale versus Redstoad and Fraslo versus Canaris, because both of those will help determine seedings for the bracket. I believe both Lude and Flacknitz are out of the running, but they'll still put on an entertaining show match for us. But Kale versus Redstoad, if Kale's favored to win that match, and if he wins it, he's in the bracket for sure. Fraslo versus Canaris, if Fraslo pulls the upset, he's actually going to bop Canaris out. But if Canaris bops Fraslo, then he's going to be in for sure too. So that one's going to be definitely a match to watch. Otherwise, just be sure to stay tuned for all races on Speed Gaming's channels. And big shout out to Speed Gaming. Thank you guys so much for helping us put this tournament on. It has been a blast so far. But yeah, that's it from us. So you guys have a great day or night wherever you are, and we'll see you next time.
See you.
see you guys.